Hi friends, this is NJ, host on this channel. So we will continue our discussion on the nakshatra number 18, which is the Jyeshtha Nakshatra. In this part, we will try to understand the different personality traits as it has been assigned by our ancient sages in the form of the caste, the gender, the body parts governed by this nakshatra. Because whenever ancient sages they looked at the sky, they saw these stars, these asterism as carrying the source of our human soul. They did not look at these bodies, these entities only as the physical bodies. They rather looked at them as the spiritual bodies with real life in them. And if something is alive, that thing, that entity should be defined with a proper caste, with a proper gender, with a proper description. So all of that we are going to discuss in this particular video, along with the most important aspect of studying nakshatra, which is about studying and taking out the most auspicious activities which you can think of opting at the time when moon will be transiting this nakshatra. So all of that we are going to discuss in this video. So before we start our discussion, just a quick recap of all what we have studied so far. We have already discussed that the rulership of this nakshatra goes to the planet Mercury. Like the way each nakshatra has got its own power, this nakshatra has got the Arohana Shakti, which means power to rise above all the perils, all the difficulties, and to conquer and gain courage in the battle. Now this could be looked at from the perspective of that, the someone who has the potential to make a balance of his body, mind and soul, to conquer his indriyas, to conquer his senses. The deity presiding on this nakshatra is the Indra, the king of the gods, the god of the thunder, the god of the rains. And we have already discussed in this aspect, the Indra just represents the authority, the throne, which in anyone can sit and just represent the dominant place in the society. When it comes to the symbol attached to this nakshatra, so we have already discussed that whenever ancient sages they looked at the sky, they saw this nakshatra constituting of 3 stars. The Alpha Scorpionis, which can also be seen and known from the name of Antares, the reddish hue, the reddish star. Second was the Tau Scorpionis, and third was the Sigma Scorpionis. So these 3 stars were making the shape of an earring. So this is how the symbol got attached to it, which was of an earring and of a round talisman. So all these round talisman and earrings are generally seen as the lucky amulets which we wear as a sign of the divine protection from all the evil energies. So this is all what we get to know from the symbol attached to it about the functioning of this nakshatra, which has a lot to do about the protecting side of it. The second symbol attached to this nakshatra is of an umbrella, and as you people know, we use the umbrella as a sign of protecting ourselves from the universal forces in the form of the rain, in the form of the scorching heat. So that also tells about the protecting side of this nakshatra. When it comes to getting an idea of the nature and functioning of this nakshatra, so the Jyeshtha word in itself means the eldest and the senior most. All these 27 nakshatras which we are discussing are the as per the mythology, these were the daughter of the Daksha, the Prajapati, and they were wedded to the moon god, the Soma. And it has been believed that the Rohini was the most beautiful amongst all these 27 nakshatras, amongst all these 27 wives of the moon. And just because moon used to reside more time with Rohini, so other wives, specifically Jyeshtha, just opposite to Rohini, which was not only the eldest one but also got jealous of that. So we get to know one aspect, the flip side of this nakshatra, which has a lot to do with the vindictiveness, with the revengefulness. The positive side of this nakshatra is that these people remain very protective, very generous, very benevolent and very helpful, specifically to all those people who are weak, who are dependent on them. So they have the capacity to head on get into any mess to protect someone. The other defining aspect of these people is that these people tend to remain very much concerned about their image, how they are being perceived in the society. Their dominant, their imagery is very important for them. And in all those kind of situation, when it comes to like defining their turmoils, defining their pains and sorrows, so there is no beating to this nakshatra when it comes to magnifying and exaggerating their troubles and narrating it to someone. So these all things we have already discussed in the previous video. And when it comes to the flip side, there is also one more aspect of this nakshatra, because the positive side is that the person will assume responsibility, person will be concerned towards others, and under the severe affliction, rather than assuming responsibility, person might act as a control freak. He will be always, surrounded by the energy and the impression of the superiority complex. So all of that you need to understand in order to get the pulse, the brief idea about the nature and functioning of this nakshatra. And it has been generally seen that with the passage of time, even if they will face initial hiccups in the early part of life, but they manage to reach to the position of authority in their life. Now we will start our discussion fresh on the topic which we have to discuss today. When it comes to the caste, so our ancient sages assigned the servant caste to this nakshatra, because even all the policing, all the military occupation where you have to unconditionally serve has been attached to this nakshatra. So the servant caste has been assigned to this nakshatra by our ancient sages. When it comes to the gender, so the female gender has been assigned to it, and in our our Vedic descriptions in the scriptures, the signs of the beauty, the jealousy has been seen as the feminine traits. So now that might be a rationale in our sages mind while assigning the female gender to it. So female is the gender of this nakshatra. When it comes to the direction, so this nakshatra governs the west direction. So you can take note of this direction and face the west direction while reciting the Bij mantra of this nakshatra, or while doing any of the propitiating remedy related to this nakshatra. So the west is the direction. When it comes to the body parts, so this nakshatra governs the neck and the right part of the torso of our body is being governed by this Jyeshtha Nakshatra. Just because even the symbol attached to this nakshatra is of a round talisman and is of those amulets. So that might be a case which our ancient sages had in mind, that they assigned neck as a governing body part of this nakshatra. Or even in ancient times, all those the queens or the people of the senior authority were being recognized by the kind of heavy ornaments they are wearing in their neck. So that might be a rationale behind assigning the neck and the right part of the torso as a body part to this nakshatra. When it comes to the humor, the Ayurvedic constitution, so this nakshatra governs the Vata, the airy constitution, because of the rulership of the Vata planet, the Mercury. When it comes to the Guna, Tattva and the Gana, so the Sattvic Guna has been assigned to this nakshatra by our ancient sages because of a very reverential, a very respectful attitudes of this nakshatra towards the elder one, and a protective attitude towards the younger ones. So the Sattvic Guna has been assigned to it. When it comes to the Tattva, again this nakshatra belongs to the air element. So because right now with this nakshatra we are about to culminate our discussion on the darkest zone of the zodiac, which is the Scorpio. We have reached the end of the Scorpio sign because the jurisdiction of the sign is from 16 degree 40 minutes reaching till the end of the Scorpio sign. So all those the Martian energy which controls this nakshatra, because of which the Martian, the police, the military, even the black magic, all of that gets attached to this nakshatra. With the previous nakshatra, the Anuradha, fear was not of that. Even in the extreme cases, the person can get into numerology, astrology, but all the occult and the left side of the tantra gets associated with this Jyeshtha nakshatra. So the air element can be looked at from the perspective that Mercury rules it, and on the outer stern side of the Mercury, of the Mars, of the Scorpio, there underlies the airy qualities, the light qualities of the planet Mercury. So the air is the element governed by it. When it comes to the Gana, so this nakshatra belongs to the demonic or the Rakshas Gana. It is even the disposition of this nakshatra is that it is a very tikshana, it's a very sharp, it's a very daruna, it's a very dreadful nakshatra. So all the qualities of revengefulness, of the vindictiveness which has been assigned to it, and we have already discussed that even the presiding deity, the Indra, he will not in the mythology, the way it has been described, that he will not even hesitate to indulge into ungodly acts in order to save and secure his throne. So now that might be a side of it, that the demonic or the Rakshas Gana has been assigned to this Jyeshtha Nakshatra. When it comes to the list of the auspicious and the inauspicious activities, so when it comes to the auspicious activities, all the activities which requires you to be harsh, now this could be filing for any lawsuit, for getting into any argument, so all those activities are considered as supporting or auspicious, at the predominance of this nakshatra, all the activities which requires you to be protective towards your family members, concerned and caregiving towards your elders, are considered as very auspicious at the predominance of this Jyeshtha Nakshatra. When it comes to the inauspicious activities, so marriage is not considered as very auspicious, traveling is not considered as very auspicious, any kind of the healing, relaxation or recreational activities are not considered as very auspicious at the predominance of this Jyeshtha Nakshatra. When it comes to its disposition, lunar month and day, so we have already discussed that the orientation of this nakshatra is that it is a level nakshatra. Maintaining a balance, a harmony is very important for this nakshatra. Even in the policing, the occupation, all what you need to do is that you need to make a balance of the justice in the society. And even the mafia, which also gets associated with this nakshatra, even for them making a balance and settling the score remains very important. All those newses which we heard that there was a breakout or there was a shootout which happened between two mafia just to settle the score of the previous retaliation or the previous treachery. So all those acts of making a balance gets associated with this nakshatra. So and the motion of this nakshatra is also moving forward, facing forward. It's a Trindamukha nakshatra. So the orientation of this nakshatra is, it is a level nakshatra. Its disposition is, it is a tikshan, it's a very hard, it's a very sharp nakshatra. When it comes to the lunar month and the day, so this nakshatra belongs to the 7th and the 14th, Saptami and the Chaturdashi of both the waxing and waning phases of the moon's monthly cycle, 7th and the 14th day. And when it comes to the lunar month, this nakshatra belongs to the first part of the lunar month Jyeshtha, which as per our English calendar falls in the later part of the May or early part of the June. When it comes to the sexual type and the gotra, so the sexual type assigned to this nakshatra is of a male deer, which can also be looked at as a hare, or many books describe it as a stag. So as this nakshatra, when it comes to even in the sexuality, just manifest little bit of the controlling and the dominant side even in the sexual activities. When it comes to the gotra, so sage Atri, one of the 7 sage gets associated with this nakshatra as its lineage, as its the celestial lineage. So sage Atri, the word Atri, which can be translated as one who devours, gets associated with this nakshatra. When it comes to the list of the profession and the places, so it's very simple. All the the policing profession, all the military profession, all those profession of caregiving, people working in the old age home gets associated with this nakshatra. Even when it comes to the places, all the the hilly inaccessible terrains, hot tropical jungles, forests, the hospitals, the airports, the telecommunication and media sector, because of the rulership of the Mercury, also gets associated with this nakshatra. So the television host, the RJ can also be seen as a profession under the purview of this nakshatra. The policeman, the black magician, the black occultist will also be associated with this nakshatra. So and the old age home we have already discussed can be seen as the place associated with this nakshatra. So these are the few things which I wanted to say as my take on the second part on this Jyeshtha Nakshatra. With this nakshatra, we are about to complete our second cycle of the nakshatra, because the first 9 nakshatra represents the Rajasic nakshatras. This second set of the 9 nakshatra, beginning from the Magha till Jyeshtha, represents the Tamasic cycle of nakshatras, and the last 9 nakshatra represents the Sattvic cycle of nakshatras. So this is all what I wanted to say as my take on this Jyeshtha Nakshatra. I hope you guys found this video informational. For further more updates and notification on astrology, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks. Shivoham, Shivoham.